This is Femme Queen Crazy Sexy Cool. Make sure you subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like, and comment. And also check out our IG. We need some followers. Step it up, guys. Mwah.
What's up, y'all?
What's up?
Welcome to another episode of Femme Queen Crazy
Sexy.
Cool.
I can't say sexy. I feel like a little girl.
But you is bold, bitch.
Yes. They are big.
You is committed to the look.
Yes, it's always about a look. I live in New York.
Yes.
Come on, baby.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yes, I like it.
Yeah.
So what's going on?
Oof.
Oh, is that Sir Davis?
Sir David, so
So,
yeah, like since everyone is like doing a taste test, I'm not really a whiskey drinker. I'm really tequila, but we gotta do it for V, and hopefully it's good. Maybe I'll switch over.
all right, well, I'm going to
Yeah,
go
ready?
ahead and go for it. Let's
I'm
see.
going to go for it. Come on, babe. I'm playing
All
with it.
right,
I'll
B.
play with it.
We are,
Yeah,
whoa,
ready?
whoa.
No.
What's going on? Okay, there we go.
You're supposed to look in the eyes when you
Yeah,
cheer.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
don't want that
supposed
side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? I ain't
Yeah.
having that.
Well,
But I'm going to the DR this week.
there you go.
Hopefully I get a little piece. No, just
Oh, that is small. Oh, that is really small.
It tastes so good.
It tastes so good. It's like a nice. It tastes really good. It's like a
It's
nice.
smooth.
Honey.
It's
I
not
taste
like-
honey,
And it's good.
but it's like,
Yeah, you can smell. You can feel
it
the
seemed like they added honey to whiskey.
it is.
It has really, it really feels smooth.
It went
Um,
smooth.
Y'all drink the whole thing?
Yeah.
Not bad. For me.
Are you
Am I going to
scared?
get I've been drinking cigar.
Yes. Go ahead.
She's playing. She's still playing.
No, no, I love it, B. No, it's cute.
Sir Day.
Not a whiskey drinker, but it's really nice. It's really
You
good.
like it?
I
What
could-
I think?
It's cute. I like it.
I
It got
like
some
it.
notes in it, like
You did
like
it?
uses like a little spice, like
It's
a little,
like-
It's
a little honey, a little spice.
I think
like
I might have to
spicy
add a little
cinnamon?
bit- a little bit of
It's
Sir
cute. It
Davis.
just it's giving you like a scent. It's cute. I like it. I like that
Listen, you pull it
aftertaste
in,
Yeah, I
actually.
like to add some Sir Davis
You
up
pull
in here.
it
This
in
is
here,
good.
please.
To what?
Can you pour some in mine? Yeah. I was going to just be regular, but yeah.
Yeah. Send her home. Send her home right.
Okay, bitch.
Send her home
Go
right.
sit on it, bitch.
Yeah.
Honey,
I know what
no,
you get
it's
her.
no
I
shade.
can know what you get her.
He loves when I hang out with you. He like, mommy, get drunk. He like,
Tabytha,
Right.
Tabytha, give me some. I want some Tabytha.
Oh my God, is that the same? I was almost married. No, I'm joking.
But what happened?
Oh, bitch,
Yes,
let's-
what happened with that?
Bitch, let's talk about the date. Let's like, remember, I remember you was ready for him to come, and he was like, oh, I think I found, you know.
I'm just not in that space. It's like I just want certain things. Like I already spoil myself, and I'm not expecting you to spoil me, but I just need you to have certain things for yourself. To like, you know, I'm not trauma bonding with the relationships anymore. So I need someone that's emotionally available. I need someone that wants the best for themselves. The way I'm going. I'm going this way. I'm going up. I need you to want to go up too.
Boobs.
It's about building together. I mean, like, because
He's a-
sometimes
he's
we'll
a
get
great
stuck.
person, though.
We'll get stuck, and then we don't realize that the person that's with us is actually holding us back because they don't have a trajectory and they're looking for you. And sometimes you're looking for them. And I'm like, I need you too. That's why it's always like we say the same about equally yoked. Sometimes it's okay. I mean, I think it's always good to be equally yoked, but at some point, like, someone has to be able to bring the person to the next level. And for me, I think if you already invested in someone, and they're not ready to go to the next level, and they can't, you know, like,
Yeah.
why are we here? Like, I don't want to get complacent in the thing and then just like, oh yeah, it's supposed to be a continuing elevation between both parties.
You know, I told my therapist, I was like, she was like, what do you think you learned from this? And I was just like, I learned, actually, I actually teared up when I made the decision to let him go. Because previously, as a younger myself, I was the type of girl that, come on in, move him in. That's, yeah, he's fine, he's my type on the look wise. Come on in, okay, I got it, because this comes with it. But no, I love myself so much.
Comes
I would
with what?
I would rather be alone than be with someone that is
Let's
not.
get on this. No. Yeah, I want to dig in that. Yeah, let's dig in that. Comes with what?
Being trans. Sometimes
You
when it
just
comes to
gotta-
relationships. We were, you know, growing up in New York City. A lot of the guys that was in the circle that I was in, most of them didn't have it financially, and the girls were always the mother
Shaking
type
their purse.
anyway. So we didn't have a problem. Well, I didn't have a problem at that moment. I did, but I didn't. I just thought this was I supposed to date until I got older, and I'm like, I'm not dating that.
I never was that
I'm
type.
not dating that.
I think it comes with once you like you said, you love yourself, when you really start to like value you. For me, like it's almost like this instant rejection. Like when I would talk to someone and I knew that they had no potential or they didn't want to do anything, I couldn't find myself interested in you for no reason. Like, but if I saw potential, then I was able to work with that. So I get what you're saying. There was the era of, we say shaking the purse, but when girls don't have a problem,
Yeah, but
when
I
the
was
girls,
never that girl.
even
when
the
the girls-
between
when
shook
I
their
said
purses
that-
on
I was
me.
getting ready to say, so it depends on where you're at, because sometimes it could be, the roles could be different.
Yeah, but it can be lonely. It can be like, it can be like, oh, should I? Because I almost started talking to somebody. Like, I found myself, I was like,
I think it's time now.
it's time, but it got to be the right
Yeah.
person.
Like, I would love
It
to
is.
see
But
her.
what about it's a time for you?
When my man is knocking at the door, no, I'm welcome.
Yeah,
to
she's
the right
welcome.
person.
She's
I'm
open.
welcoming
I'm
to
more
the
closed
right
off.
person, but I'm dating, and that's another thing too. I wasn't looking to jump. You know, a lot of guys when they're trying to manipulate who you are, they want to hurry up and jump and put you in a relationship.
I see. That's
I'm
what.
not
That's what
jumping
turns me
into a
off.
relationship. I wanna get
This
to
was.
know more.
I
like
did.
that.
Like, I liked it more when he
Not
was
the
shy or
first thing,
something.
not
Like,
before.
as soon as he starts saying, "Oh, cause you gonna be my girl," bitch, we haven't even been out yet. Like, oh, I need to lay up with you. I need to come lay down with you. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I don't. Cause I don't want that. Like, I don't want somebody to be doing
So
that.
let me ask that, what is it that you're looking for in a man, and what is it that you're looking for in a man?
I really like to be intimidated by the men that I like. I like, because a lot of times as trans women, especially like in the scene or whatever, or when you come across certain men, they're intimidated by us. Like just by the whole namesake and stuff like that. So a lot of times for me, I want to be intimidated by men. Like I want a man who has like more, like their mind, like they're just so intelligent that I can learn from them, and they motivate me to want to be more. And so it's like, oh bitch, I need to step it up, like being with this man. Like that's,
I like that.
yeah, I like a man who really has things going for himself, that is like, okay, for so long I have been mother hen, like to so many people, and like I'm like feeding into everybody else, to whereas a lot of times I couldn't feed into myself. So I'm attracted to somebody else who can teach me something, or who can inspire me to be better, or like maybe you should do this. Like I'm really so much attracted to that now, like what they have going on, more so than before. It was such the physical for me. It was like, if you didn't look a certain way, I really couldn't deal with you. I really was, it was like, okay, I have sex with this one, and this one is going to be my boyfriend. That's the type of person. But now, I'm older now, and it's like, I want something more stable, like something like, everybody's like, what do you bring to the table? So I want a partner. I want somebody who it's all about communication for me. If we can like be on the phone and talk about so many different topics, I love that. I want to see the world. I want to, like, there's just so
You
many
want
things.
them
I
to
want to make
stimulate you
memories.
mentally,
Yeah,
to be
absolutely.
you want to be inspired.
You want to be mindful.
And I keep meeting fucking young boys. Like, I always meet young boys or really old. No, well, they gotta know.
So
I can't.
now, what about you? What type of guy do you want?
So for me, to be honest, I'm not really. It's not a certain type of guy as far as look wise. But definitely someone that's emotionally available. I need you to be able to communicate your feelings with me. Someone that's going extremely hard for the life that they want. That inspires me. I want to be around people like-minded people. I want to be around like-minded, hardworking people. That's really it. And really really mind. I love someone that can fuck my mind.
So
that can really. We can have a
So
conversation.
y'all want men who already come with a sense of self, want to pour into you, don't have a problem teaching you new things and opening your ideas to things that you feel stimulated about. Like you want new things, new conversations, new different things, as opposed to, but that's what I mean about when it's equally yoked. And you said something about bringing something to the table. And I think for so long we're always looking for the person to bring something to the table. And on the last episode, I believe, Primo had said, like, if you're not putting yourself first in the relationship, then I don't want you. If you can't prioritize you. So my thing is, it's a lot of relationship where it's.
Well, I think I want the man to put me first.
You want him to put you first?
No, I want him ready to have his something.
Do you think codependency?
Maybe I got daddy issues.
Do you think codependency is like a real thing in relationships?
Is it?
Tell him to. When you're able to communicate your needs to your partner, it's entirely different. So, like, the whole last season, I talked about my relationship. So I don't want to do that again. It's just that, certain things that I do want to, like, I don't want my relationship so much out there that people, every time I go somewhere, they're like, oh my God, how'd you stay with your man? And it's like, it's a great conversation piece, but I don't want my man to be a subject of all my conversations. But I will say that when you're able to communicate effectively with each other and you're able to show up to fill that need, it can look like codependency, but like I said, it also has to be able to build. If it's not going nowhere and we just here, and I just need you to do this, and that, and it's always me doing something for you and you not doing nothing for me, like I'm just not doing that. But I'm
gotta
just saying,
do
so
for me
it's good
first.
that guys learn what they're looking for. If you are that guy, my sisters are ready to date.
No, we don't want to do that. Let me not say that because the guy I just met, he met me.
Do it.
I didn't think you was going to say that.
No, because.
But that's good. We're so open.
Because
Did he give stalker tease?
No. He's a sweetheart. No, he's definitely a sweetheart. He's actually going to make someone happy one day. But I just feel like for me, we just wasn't.
Sometimes you meet the right person at the wrong time. I have met people like that.
We got along so well with communicating. I loved how he challenged me and I challenged him. But as far as his there's certain things I want in a relationship now. I need that.
But that's good. That's mature. That's growth on your part.
It is. I told you that when you told me. I think it was, for me, I felt it was empowering to hear you say that and just say, you know what, this isn't what I want. And I have to be able to say that and move past that, because a lot of people will stay in stuff for a long time and it ain't working.
But I started to look back on myself and I told my therapist, I was just like, wow, like I'm gagging, I'm growing up and I'm becoming better. And I got so emotional on the phone with her because, when you're young and being trans, the lifestyle that people put onto you, you don't think that you're going to make it. Like, you think that you're literally just surviving. I'm living now. And I'm enjoying everything. I'm actually growing and healing from my past. And it's so beautiful to see.
It's funny. I never ever, some people have like this morbid. I mean, even though that they say that, the trans life expectancy, which I know it can't be still 35 or whatever, like, because I know girls who live way beyond and I'm way beyond. But I always see myself growing old and being like successful. I never thought like that. I'm like, I'm a die trying, bitch. Like, I'm like, bitch, I ain't never giving up.
Yeah,
Like,
I want everything that they stole.
I became numb to certain things. Like, as a child, like, as a young girl growing up, I knew I didn't want certain things to bother me consistently because I had to get money, I had to pay bills, I had to do certain things, and I didn't want things that I was going through, like, you know, other things have to focus on. I didn't want that to overtake my life and
living in survival. Now that is true. Now
I didn't want to do that.
trying to get out of that mode is definitely a thing, but always knowing that you will keeps you motivated.
And that's what it is, because for me, what is a definitive mark in your life where you feel as though that you're no longer surviving, that you're thriving? Because I think that we always say those catchphrases, I'm no longer surviving, I'm thriving. But what about in that middle piece when you're striving?
But you're scary
when you're
too.
on your way there. When you're probably not at the thriving point, but you are striving to get there. And that's where, for me, that's where it's like, when you say like, I'm gonna die trying. Like, that's how I feel.
I won't give up.
I don't consider myself thriving right now because I know the things that I want that will make me feel like I'm thriving. I'm striving fucking hard to thrive. And once I start to thrive, then that's when it's no longer about me. I'm able to do more for others than I've ever been able to do, because it's about showing everybody else that they too get to do some of these same things. So when people see us striving or us moving toward or working our ass off to get to what we want, it looks glamorous to you. But I'm the person that Junior said that'll buy a fur coat and swipe the train the next day. Sometimes I have to check
I got a few of them.
and say, hey, I got
I ain't buy mine. Thank you, baby.
Well, mine was given to me. Love you, Simone. But what I was going to say is, what is the determining factor when you decide that I am no longer surviving, I'm striving, or I'm thriving?
So, for me to answer that question, I'm looking at it in the way of what work area I'm in. Am I striving in this work area? But I'm living, like I'm enjoying my life every day as living. I'm living the life that I want to live. I'm doing the job that I want to do. But when I'm striving or thriving, I think I am, for me, I'm thriving in my work area. I'm moving on to my next career, and I will start that there. But right now, I do believe that for me, I am thriving in like whatever I'm doing right now.
Yeah, like when I was hustling, like when I was like, you know, doing my thing, it was giving, oh, bitch. Like, yeah, it was like, okay. Like, how do I move on? Like, you know, it was about, like, I couldn't just sit back because I had to answer the phone. Or I had to, you know, bitch, I gotta go out of town. You know, it was just so much or whatever. But it's still a, like, hustle. Even though, because it's like, you know, now it's like, oh, you just did something really big. What's next?
Yes, it's
that. Wait,
yes,
my question
it's
to you
that.
Is that you asking yourself that, or the people asking you that?
Both.
I feel like that's I feel like sometimes people want to live through others, and I think what you're doing is amazing. I think that sometimes we have to stop being so hard on ourselves to jump right to
And live in the moment.
and then not why soak in your.
It's scary.
This is beautiful what you just did, and this is still growing. And you don't know what else is. You might get a call tomorrow when they be like, "We want you to play in this such and such." You're living. You're getting the things that you want to get.
I think there is a saying that when you're content with what you have and you are, you know, not waiting for your next level, I would say moving towards your next level, because when you said earlier those emails are so critical, because in the time where girls are not getting bookings or it's harder to do things, it's important that for me, when we show up in these spaces, that we have our attitude reflected and we show up in a way that makes us prepared for the next opportunity, if that makes sense. And it's just important. But I always wanted to have that conversation, because when you use those words, those are key words that we use in community. I'm like, but nobody ever talks about the striving.
But do you feel like when you get to a certain age, it gets even more scary?
I think that it does, because I think that if things are not moving as fast as you need it to be, you start to feel like, is this it? Like, oh my God. But wait. So, but here's the thing. But wait. So here's the thing. But what you said makes sense. No, that can't be it. No, but wait. In your moment.
You do.
So,
But then are you settling?
No, it's not settling. I get you. Let me tell you what that means. So wait. So
No.
So it was like, you know,
but I want to keep going.
Y'all know I'm very spiritual.
Keep going because you're growing.
Right, it is.
You're
It
here right
is.
now. So that
So
means you're going.
here's what I've learned through my, my relationship with God. You can ask for the car, a bright and shiny car, but what about the car that you already have? You know what I'm saying? That with that car again. But
This bitch said vroom.
I'm talking about the shiny car. But what I'm saying is, so when y'all edit this, make sure you have the car going across.
We not editing. Oh, you
But what I'm saying is, I get what you're saying. If you're not happy with what you already have, how could you possibly want something more? It's all
the blessings.
So what's
it's also
the difference?
like if you're not good with finances, but you say, "Oh, I can't wait to get that job and make all that money," but you're not good with finances, so
No,
you
I think
getting a
things
new
come in
job
time.
is only going to mess it up. So
Yeah, I
think
always
that
say
things
like
do
certain
come at a
blessings.
time.
I really realized that blessings, like certain things, I realized why it didn't happen for me at certain times of my life because I wasn't ready and I would have fumbled the ball. You know what I'm saying? So I do realize that everything happens in time and for a reason or whatever, but I never want to give up the faith of wanting more. It doesn't mean that I don't appreciate my blessings. It just means that I don't ever want to be. Well, I do want to be comfortable one day, like where I don't have to worry, and like my money is making money for myself. But
God of the more, baby.
he
said, "You are more than a conqueror."
Hallelujah!
But we are designed to want more.
No, I
We
think
are
we're
the
designed.
children of the God of
I don't
the
think
Lord.
we're designed to.
I just,
You don't think so?
You don't think so?
No, I think that comes with we're expecting more because of the world that we live in. Like that's how they make money because we want more. That's how we look on social media. She has a Louis bag that I want, and I'm begging.
But it's not really about money. Like I don't think we have to monetize it.
I'm giving you I'm not saying the whole just the bag thing. I'm saying just in general.
For me, it's purpose. For me, it's purpose.
Right. There has to be purpose in all this damn pain. I'm sorry.
It has to be purpose, and I always felt that in my life that there was something bigger than me, and there was something that was going to be about my journey that was going to affect others, and that there was a reason for everything that I did, and that I wanted to touch people in different ways. Like I don't know, every time that I was prophesied to, or like just people on the street, they always said that I was meant to touch people and thousands of people was going to hear from me. And so I've always felt, even with the whole trans situation, even though me not being comfortable in myself as trans in the beginning and not really want to even identify as trans, I always felt that I was going to be a change. Like there was going to be something, because I would meet people and they'd be like, "Oh, but you're different." Like, they had this whole stereotype of what trans is. And I was like, well, maybe I'm supposed to be like, maybe I'm supposed to show people the difference or something. But I just always felt like there was a reason, or there was something that God was going to give me, that I was going to speak to others and I was going to change their mind about something.
And I'm glad you did, because honestly, like with the trans topic being so, being an umbrella term, we must continue to show up in our authentic selves to challenge people's ideas on who we are. We are all, being trans is not linear. And I think that the more we continue to show up in our authentic selves, we show people that we're not what you think what we are. We are not who you say we are, and we're here to show you that.
Amen.
Before we go into that topic,
Yeah.
I want to say that I believe that we are born with everything that we need in life. Like who we are, we already have our purpose. We just have to get the fly away and remove the domestication and realize who we are and what that purpose is. So that's why I say that we want more, because that's what we're told we're supposed to go get, but it's already inside of us. We just don't see it until we get where we need to get see it.
And it's like, oh, I had all that. Because, you know, there's those times when we thought we couldn't make it. And we're like, oh, shoot, I didn't know I had that in me.
I always
You know?
knew that. I always know too that I'm gonna make it. I'm like, I'm gonna make it no matter what.
They see it in you already. People not telling
When
you
you
things
start
that are
realizing that too, like a lot of times, like people are so like sometimes you have to go through to get to like. I realize that there's a rainbow after each storm, so I stop fretting. Like I'm not really the person to cry over spilled milk because I always feel like, even when the times when I'm like, bitch, rent is coming home and paying rent. Like I knew rent was gonna get paid. I knew it was gonna come, and I think that just comes with faith, and I really strongly believe in manifestation because there's so many things in my life, like I've said so many times, that I've manifested. So
I do have a question. This is our first topic about, you know, are you supposed to be fierce if you're a femme queen? If you're a femme queen, are you allowed to be fierce? Like,
so fierce, like, you know, so in the scene, you know, at one time fierce meant good, and then fierce meant bad. So when you say fierce, are you saying like the bad? Because now we say fierce like it's bad, like bitch, that is fierce.
It's not a positive thing no more. We look at it as a negative thing. Like you look.
I don't like how we change words and we say we make them our own, or we change the meaning of it. Like back then, fierce meant like, but you looked at a hot mess. I mean, well, you look fast.
No,
but
fierce used to mean good.
Fierce used to mean like, oh, you fierce, you're eating it. Yeah. Now it's giving, you look a hot mess, you look fierce.
So you're saying, do femme queens have to be fierce, like shady?
Do you have to be a femme? Like, do you have to be fierce to be a femme queen?
But
like shady fierce, like shady
like
fierce.
A shady fierce, like a mean fierce. Like
yeah.
I think that, and that's why it's important that you say what you say. The more we continue to show up, we challenge those ideas. People automatically have this stereotype on how we should be, and we walk around with these airs. I've walked into spaces and had girls walk by like.
I think it's an armor sometimes. So
you can be confident. You know, being a femme queen is about being confident in who you are. But if you're using your confidence to harm others, then that has nothing to do with being a femme queen. That's just you being a bad person. I don't think that femme queens have to be quote unquote fierce to each other or fierce to be a femme queen. I think you just have to be yourself and show up as your authentic self. We are all not the same.
No, I believe that. I think that we seen what came before us a lot of times in ballroom, and the girls who weren't fierce or witty or carried that armor, nobody talked about them. Like, you know, they kind of got ran over, it seemed like. So I think that, you know, a lot of the girls that we kind of uplifted had that, and so a lot of girls feel like they have to be that. Do I think that you have to be fierce? No. And especially it comes with maturity, knowing that you don't have to be anything but yourself, really, honestly and truly. So, like, no, you don't have to be fierce. Sometimes because people talk about us so dirty or try to run over us, it comes with the territory. Can I be fierce at times? Yes, I can. But now that I'm mature, I realize you get way more bees with honey. And so I don't have to be fierce unless you push me to be fierce. But otherwise, I really don't want to be. So no, you don't have to be.
I have this thing where I feel like I don't think you should be fierce. I think you should be nice. Of course, I think you should be nice to people and just be loving, of course. But I also think that you should be authentically yourself. If you feel like you have to turn something on or turn it off, that's a mask. That's not really who you are, and that's people not getting the real you. Once I started to love me, I started to show as me, and how you perceive it is on you. I can't rub your back because if I walk past you and you saw me being confident, that you may have took it, oh, she's being fierce. No, that's how you took it personally. Because that's not, you projected that on something that have nothing to do with anything. I'm just being me and I'm showing up as me. I think sometimes in the community we feel like being a film queen is a mask, and that's why sometimes we get treated the way we get treated. Oh, they're fake, they're not real, or you, like the comments homeboy said, we talked about in the last episode, and he was saying how all the comments about the trans community, they say stuff like that, and it's because when we talk about being a femme queen, we talking about turning it on and turning it off, like it's fake, and it's like, and I feel like
so that goes back to what I was saying about the dialogue that we have with ourselves teaches them how to speak to us. Because if we showing up in our authentic selves and we're being our authentic selves, then they can't say that.
No,
so when we continue to try to, like, it's just this whole this ideology around, like when you said that was perfect. Yeah. If you walk past somebody and you don't speak in a person for a certain way, you're not being fierce. You're just being you. And maybe at that moment you did not see them, or maybe you just in
maybe
your own mind. Yes, somebody was trying to talk to me in the train today. I'm so glad you said that. I looked right at them spot on, and they were talking like, and it was one of the people, right? So, and I was so frustrated with my bag that I was said something to them, and I'm like, they're like high, real fast, but I kept walking, and I said that to myself when I walked away, like, oh my God, they're gonna think I was being shady. But then I was like, no, I was literally wrestling with my bag, and this wasn't an opportune time to stop and have a conversation. Because I was running late, and somebody want to have.
Speaking of shading, I'm sorry, I was about to go, but one of our guests walks fashion, and a lot of times shade has to come with walking fashion, I feel like. But before that, weren't you guys talking about accountability?
Yeah, well, that can kind of drift up into that more, but they politics and war room. How did we feel about that?
Politics involved? I just think that that's something that you just can't help. It's not going to change.
I don't think it. I think it has to be a radical change for it to happen. I don't see it happening. But what I will say is, like earlier in the last episode, I said that we have these catchphrases like, "Oh, that's just ballroom," and I think that we don't know what accountability is because we have not yet defined what accountability looks like as a community. What may be accountability for you? Like, for example, someone says something, make an apology. Some people may say that's accountability, and other people will be like, "Well, that's not enough." You see, so have we defined what accountability? But this is what I'm saying. We have not defined as a community how many people have caused harm within the community, physical harm to people, and then come and walk aboard a month or two later.
Accountability or punishment? You're saying so? There's a difference, like because anybody can say that. Oh yeah, it was my fault. I'm sorry. That's not them taking accountability.
So that's what I'm saying. We haven't defined it. So we keep asking for something that we as a community have not clearly defined what accountability is.
I think we're supposed to expect more. We should be expecting a lot more in our community now. By now, we should be expecting. We're getting $5,000 for easy categories now. With like, you can walk a ball with one person, you're getting $5K. Like, everything is at high stakes now. Everything is high stakes now. Versus, like, literally, everything is at high stakes now. So I think we need
Damn.
You're talking about this
Damn.
5K.
Well, no, because I'm not saying, you want 5K, so that's what a lot of categories are 5K. Like, if there's a ball every single week, and there's at least one category for $5,000, and I feel like,
and then everybody,
we're at this. We can think we over here, the money's going up, but right here it's not. It's like, who is going to actually sit at these tables? Because we can keep having these conversations, having these, oh yeah, I feel this, but who's actually going to sit here and say, let's be the change? Like, let's show them the way, because obviously the people before us, the people under us, they need some type of guidance, and the people before us, maybe they didn't have the tools to do it. And maybe we have the tools to be able to do it, and maybe we need to start doing it, but I think a lot of times we just sit here and like, oh, we need to figure out what is accountability for us. That's it clear. If somebody smacked the icon on the panel for just judging, that's beyond disrespectful. Accountability, we're charging $5,000 for that category. Why is that even happening? Why is that even happening? We can.
What about when
there's really no rules.
What about I was getting ready to say,
but not security.
Oh, so this is what I mean. So, and when they approach the panel, Like I've
So
seen that.
I think that we should bring our guests in
Definitely.
to talk about this.
Their experience with that.
Yes, we.
Over here worried about burgers and French fries and cakes. What about where's security? Where's making sure the categories are going correctly?
Absolutely.
Because
and who? How do we know? Like, because some people are so in it for money versus like they don't really care about. I don't think we're all in it for money. Not all in it for money.
I would say this.
You can't say you all in it for money if you want change. You want change, so you can't say
it
that.
Realistically, on what I'm not talking about for me. I don't need.
But you said we all, so you included yourself.
I don't really know, but I'm saying in general. I'm not making it personal. I'm talking about.
You said we all.
Yeah, we. I'm saying
that's personal.
No, it's not.
But you're making a generalized statement.
You put us all in it. It's personal.
Here's what I'm saying. You said something true. There may be a bar in Connecticut or someplace else for $5,000, and it's only 2 people out there that can walk across. So does that mean they don't get the $5,000?
No, I think they should get the $5,000. I think if you come to walk and you win,
but that's why she said before. That's why people get big heads, bitch, and like because they don't even have to do so much for like a certain category, bitch, and then.
I don't understand how you giving a new person, how you giving a new category $5,000 and giving the icons to battle for $500 or $1,000. You should be happy that they're still walking. That's number one. Number two, you should be leveling up to even get to that position. You just got here. How you can?
That's why the attitudes are different with the new generation. They give a bitch what?
You used to have
you had to wait.
Whether you was vulgar, whatever, bizarre, but you had to look like you was in ballroom.
Yeah.
No shade,
well,
Asia. You ate
when
that.
we come back,
like they in ballroom. Ballroom do not look like what it used to look.
But what did it look like, Asia?
Haircut, juice, everyone smell. I'm not saying girls didn't smell, but they definitely did.
It kind of gave underground Hollywood. Like I felt like I kind of felt like we wanted to.
I love y'all.
Like we wanted to give it.
What I think it is now, so I'm not gonna. Because I don't want to.
But just giving gymnasium.
I'm not gonna say what
It's
I think.
giving what? It's giving what?
The gym. Let's go to the gym and play football. No, maybe I might be just. I felt like the last bar I went to, I was like, maybe I'm old. Yeah, not excited anymore. And then you want to dress up, and then I'm like, doing that for what? Like, what am I dressed up for? I'm like, bitch, I can't do this. She was like, you leaving? I'm like, yeah, I see y'all walk. Like,
I gagged because like immediately after she made the beeline towards the door, I was like, "Mom, you left?" She was like, "Yeah, I'm on my way home now." I was like, damn.
Can't check him and see walls.
Because
it's different. It's different now. But when we come back, we have an icon in fashion who has slayed the runway all the way from Chicago to New York, Atlanta, anywhere you can name. This individual is, and not only in ballroom, but also like styling. You see this person at the Met Gala and all type of shit. THADDEUS Gorgeous Gucci will be with us when we get back.
Hey, don't forget to click, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. And hit the bell notification in the right-hand side of your screen so you'll be notified when we drop new episodes every week, Wednesdays at 12 o'clock. Continue to follow Femme Queen Crazy, Sexy, and Cool.
Yes, welcome. And you came with the energy I want. THADDEUS says that they have a lot to say. So, talk your shit. Let's get to it. Let's get right into it. You heard some of the conversation already when we were talking about ballroom, and you sat down, and I'm like, wait till you get on camera. So, what's up? First of all, what's up? You look fabulous. Like, of course, I know you would. The fashion diva.
This the whole thing? Well, first of all, I want to say I am honored to be here. From the production team to, sitting here with you ladies. I have to salute all of you ladies. You ladies have definitely continued to inspire me. And there are days when I just don't feel like it. And I go back and I remember I used to wake up mornings and then I just used to open up Facebook and she was just singing in the mirror in the bathroom. And I was talking about this lovely lady here. I just wake up on a Monday morning and she felt it, I guess. The angels was calling her. I log on to Facebook, she's just singing. I'm like, woo!
Yes.
And I recently got a chance to experience it live. And you had me crying. As you were performing, I felt it because I know you. I know your journey. You know what I'm saying? So you're singing in front of your peers. I know that empowered you because we felt it. It was no acting. You were being you. That was that star in you that when those lights hit, I'm like, there she is. And then to salute you at the end of this fabulous Broadway exhibition, she sachets off, walking upstairs, up, and there she went. And it was a dream. And I'm here today, and here she is.
Thank you.
Tabytha, I think it was last summer, we were at an alliance meeting, and you stood up and spoke. And I'm like, wow, this woman is a boss. And when you finished, you brought attention to the room because it was disorder, and you felt that the message was disconnecting from certain people. And she stood up, and she didn't even raise her voice. Her authority brought attention to the room. It's like, y'all have to understand what's going on. We're not here to fight and argue. And you started to cry. You remember that? And you looked at me, and I sent you the heart because I felt your leadership. And in that moment, everybody got quiet because people were bickering over nothing, power, when in actuality we were there for a message. And she took authority of the room, and she made it back about why we were there. And I sent you the heart. You remember what I'm saying? You sent the heart back. And I said, I love you. I said, I feel you. I support you. Lead on. Asia, every time I look up, I don't know what country you're in. She's all over the world, being a transgendered woman that simplifies sexy style, pizzazz. You are showing the world what it means to be a transgendered woman in the culture of ballroom and fashion and identity and Vogue and sexiness. And somebody had to do this. Fortunately, it is you. So all of you ladies right now, you'll have this platform that is allowing me to sit here before today to share my views because you guys inspire me. And I just want to just say that. Now let's get it.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
That means a lot.
I had to get that off because you guys, it's work for you today. But for me, I'm honored to be here. So I know it's another day in the office, but
No, like you know, no.
No, I really enjoy being.
We love
yeah,
it.
we love this. Like,
Yeah.
we
Like, I mean, it's great to be able to give people, like, this is our way of giving back to the community and honoring the people, because sometimes people of the past are forgotten. If you're no longer, you're as good as your longest, your last hit on the floor. Sometimes, a lot of times in ballroom, and especially like, now even more, ever since we've been doing this, it's like, we have to reach out to people who have done it and have paved the way, so people can learn their history, because a lot of times the new generation has no idea of who certain people are because they're not researching their history. So
it's not being taught.
Yeah.
It's not being taught because the leaders are chasing a dream that has so far past their time. And instead of taking that light that they have within them and inspire a younger generation and shine under their light, they choose to hog it and be malicious and choose to take it away from people who really deserve it.
What?
Can we go deeper?
Say that again.
I'm just keeping it real.
Can we dig a little deeper?
So honestly, we've all made it out of ballroom. Thank God. Ballroom is our living room. A lot of our peers, especially from our generation, are sitting in a corner very upset. Ladies, you know why you're upset. You know why y'all mad. Step your pussies up, bitch.
Good evening. So, I seen you in the back, like standing up when we were talking about what was the topic that
Politics in ballroom.
Oh, you like the politics in ballroom and taking accountability.
What do you think about?
It's definitely going on. I'm going to give a prime example from my experience. Since COVID, I think I have maybe got on the floor 4 times. And right during COVID, I was in the talks of being deemed a Hall of Famer and an icon by the pioneering founder of the House of Chanel, R.R. Chanel.
Yeah.
and it was a year-long talk. And as it got closer to me being deemed, I slipped up and I said, oh, I just want this to hurry and come. Get my dean and I'm done with this. Well, why did I say that? RR said to me, she said, Miss Thing, what do you mean? She said, see, that's the issue. The girls get deemed and they disappear. She said, what do you mean you're disappearing? She was like, you just arrived. What are you going to do with your Hall of Fame fashion iconic status? You can't just disappear. She was like, the stage is yours. And when they said that to me, something came over me. I'm like, they're right. My chapter, this is just another chapter. And ballroom was growing and opportunity was manifesting amongst my peers. And I refused to sit back and allow my legacy to be diminished by mediocrity. So I made up my mind I was going to show up every time I got bored and hit the floor with an iconic moment in fashion for ballroom and the world. Recently, we as a house of Gorgeous Gucci walked the coldest winter ball, fashion as a house. We definitely were privileged and awarded the opportunity to wear some of the most stunning clothes that the world had ever saw. Tabytha, I saw you at the back of the room when we walked off the stage. You ran and you looked stunned because of what happened for the moment. To be honest with you, we were chopped, and I feel that when a house or a founder or anybody that writes these categories and you see a moment at your ball is about to go to the next level, please allow it to happen. Don't allow someone that has been in ballroom for a year or two that are not clueless with trends, that are there and oblivious of what's going on, to ruin a moment that we've been planning for months, sometimes even years. I don't think that they understand the amount of time, money, and energy it takes to make moments at y'all function. And y'all completely just disregard the situation when it actually is going on. And it almost feels like, you guys are so big and so fabulous, I don't even want this to happen. I look at you people in y'all face when y'all are sitting there playing politics on my time, but guess what? We the people speak. The people is all over the world on YouTube Live and all the lives letting us know how great we are, because the promoters and the founders sometimes don't care. On to the next category. No, not this way. These moments that we create are lifelong. Ballroom is changing a lot. And I'm going to make sure that the House of Gorgeous Gucci, with fashion, remain at the forefront, because I am chosen to do this. I've been through a lot. I've saw a lot. I've been around for 25 years. I'm one of the greats. And there's a lack of respect from people from my generation the most. I will never say one word. I will always show up look like $1 million because I represent the House of Gorgeous Gucci. And I understand my influence. I just wanted to put that out very early on while this conversation manifests into other directions. Also, you can't have a fashion category, a grand prize, write a category with distinctive details, and when the ball happens, you allow a rotten seat on the panel to disrespect someone of my caliber. While other people for the category are being rewarded for mediocrity, I'm here to call out mediocrity because that is not the foundation of what ballroom is built on. It's built on perfection, friendly competition, a little light shade, and the winner.
What do you feel about the fashion now in ballroom, like the best dress and stuff like that? What do you feel about this? Like, because you come from the era, and then you also ushered in a new type. I would say, like, you and Lawrence.
Absolutely.
With the, we're going to get into that conversation later on, the gender nonconforming.
Absolutely.
And, I remember coming to Chicago, bitch, and, I'm feeling like, bitch, I'm tiny, bitch, at this time, bitch, and I'm getting there, they keep talking about this THADDEUS, bitch, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna be THADDEUS, and I get out the car, and this bitch got on a motherfucking fur with a bikini, bitch. no hair, nothing. Like, this is the first time, so I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, well, is that a butch? What is that? And at the time, because this is before like Gen Z and all of that, and Thaddeus walked in their truth, it was given, this is me, and even in ballroom, you challenged what was supposed to be, you was like, this is me and this is who I am. So there's two parts to that question is, what do you think about fashion nowadays?
There are definitely a couple of diamonds in the sand when it comes to fashion, maybe two. I'm definitely one. The maybe, I'll have to think about that later. The categories definitely need to be broken up. There needs to be designer's delight.
Boots.
Designer's delight and best dress and labels are not the same. Designer's delight is not considered under the umbrella of fashion. Designer's delight is the ability to create a look and manifest a look that you've been inspired by and that cultivates your mind at the moment. Fashion is fashion. If you don't know what it is, I'm sorry. You can't compare and contrast the two. I think that they need to have more fashion categories, and I think they need to call out more of the icons and legends and have special categories for us so that we can re-inspire the girls and show them what it is, win, lose, or draw. That's definitely my intake on that. I'm not here to sit there and bash anyone's effects or looks, because in this community, we're all so multifaceted and talented. But I've been in this lane for over 25 years, and I think I'm honored and privileged to say that Designer's Delight is their own category, Best Dress is their own category, and so is labels. It's three different things. Please, guys, do your homework, watch the videos of how things were, manifest your looks based on what the ballroom wants to give, and then you'll never get it wrong. Once again, it's never about the win, it's always about the moment, because we, the people, will remind you who is the most sickening of them all.
And my second part, we the people.
Y'all know who the people is. We go home after the bar, we over it, we read them comments, and we're like, woo! It keeps you from taking away from the moment that you felt like you should have won. You have to make it about the moment, because in my situation, my first ball I got chopped. My last couple of balls didn't go so well, but the moment went viral. Because of me getting on the floor, I've been mentioned in Vogue, the New York Times. I've done great things by me just getting on the floor. I've mastered my craft. I understand what gender non-conforming is, being genderless. I understand the anatomy of my body and what to wear. And a lot of people that identify under the genderless umbrella are put anything that they feel can hyper-feminize their look, when the reality is their aesthetic is not built for that. You have to dress according to your aesthetic. And it doesn't mean you can't bend or twist your look. Everybody's built is not made to be in gowns or dresses or heels.
I'm glad you're saying this
or
cannot
straps.
be
I can say that I came into ballroom at 21 years old. I wasn't young. When I came into ballroom, I was in college. I was teaching modeling at John Robert Powers. I was already a model. I was already confident in my skin. I looked in the mirror and I saw beauty. So I could not let ballroom tear me down. My gender and my identity was confused, even for myself at times. Born as a he, referred to as a she, identify as they. So I definitely understand the shock value when it came to my aesthetic, but me leaving the ballroom scene and going back into my mainstream life, I was already being celebrated for my beauty and my identity and my gender by the world. So the negative side of things didn't affect me, because I came into ballroom in designer clothes and furs and Chanel and et cetera, et cetera. How I got it, that's another story, but
We used to have good times back then.
times was fabulous.
Times was fab back
If
then.
you were young, queer, and femme and smart, you shouldn't have had a difficult time in a small range of years. You know what I'm saying? But we didn't know any better. You know what I'm saying? In terms of certain aspects of survival. and I don't want to go off the subject, going back to what I was saying was, but my identity was often challenged and confused. Female figure was brought about in the ballroom scene. Eric Christian Bazaar, God rest his soul, would come to the Midwest very often. And at the time, I was up in pumps and runway and fashion. I was in all of the things fabulous queers did. And I was oftentimes being sent off the runway because I was misgendered. But every time I stepped on the floor, I was so stunningly done. I forced my way onto the floor and forced the respect. It was not an easy road. I wasn't a transgendered woman. I do identify under the trans femme umbrella. You know what I'm saying? I have lived a femme life. I do have feminine gestures. I do have gay children that refer me to as mother or sister. I embrace all of that. And one day he came to the ball and he was like, Thaddeus, we're gonna name a category for you because I need to see you on a floor in a category. Not getting on the floor to make the girls know it. And it was in Detroit, I want to say the Dutch Ball, maybe 2001 or 2002. He said, we're gonna come out with female figure labels because I want to see you walk with the girls. When I see you, I see this feminine individual with these beautiful, gorgeous, stunning women's clothes on. It needs to be put in a category as you judge just for that. And ever since then, they started to have female figure under the fashion categories. When I would leave New York and come to Chicago, I was able to get on the floor with the greats and show my talents. And every time I came into New York, because the culture was so open-minded, because New York is ahead of the field when it comes to identity, even though there was not terminologies that was developed for it yet, I was welcomed with open arms. So it allowed me to want to keep coming back to New York as who I was, tux, coats, and everything. And at that time, that was the model in me. That was authentically being me. I was able to escape from the mainstream world that I was in and coming to a bar and being me. I didn't know who I was or what I was, but I did look in the mirror and I saw beauty. That was something that no one could not tell me I was.
I know that's right. How did you, because I know that there was a time that you kind of, I have two questions too, because I'll ask you this first. I was watching House on Fire, and you were talking to Lena, and I love that conversation with Lena because I feel like you are the person who can, give Lena a certain perspective. Some people feel like Lena is just, but I feel like she, listens to you, and, so you were like, okay, Lena, well, this time when you come, what are you bringing to ballroom? You said something like, what is your purpose? You talk about you want to come back. What are you bringing? So now that you're coming back to ballroom, what is your purpose of ballroom? They try to age us out in ballroom, and you made the comment sometimes because we've done this, sometimes you don't want to just see it go to the wayside. You want to remind people of what it once was. So what do you feel like your purpose is coming back to the ballroom and still walking balls and doing all, because you have transcended out of ballroom? What is your purpose of still being?
Absolutely. I aspire to inspire. Ladies, let's get a toast on that. Lena is my mentee. I have been in her life since she was 15. She has a lot of me in her, and she speaks for a lot of us, whether you like it or not. Some people are built for certain things in the community. When she invited me to come on set with her, I was like, what are we going to talk about? Because it can't be something about nothing, because I'm on camera and we're going to look retarded. And at that time, we were in a tense place. We had a lot of things that we need to get off our chest. So that conversation was 100% authentic. And believe it or not, a lot of it was edited because it got really, 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 really intense. Lena is my mentee. I've been in her life since she was 15. She has a lot of me in her. One thing she does is speak the truth, whether you like it or not. Fortunately, someone has to be her, and it's her. Ballroom is built on a lot of hate and shade, and when you capitalize on your success from the community, you won't get perceived how you need to be perceived. That's one thing I do teach my mentees because I aspire to inspire. We're never going to kiss ass, and we're always going to produce with results and receipts. Because in ballroom, it's a sport. Without the receipts, you have no bragging rights. We all hope to use the ballroom floor to captivate, to cultivate our life outside of the floor into greater things. Fortunately, that is what a lot of us has done, and a lot of people are sitting back very upset when they need to be trying to understand the logic and the recipe and the formula that we've adapted to get where we are. When we spoke on the show, a lot of it was a lot of tension that was between she and I, and it was very much authentic, and a lot of it was edited out a lot. I wish they would have gotten more into the detail of the conversation, but we are very, very close. We are each other's chosen family, and I felt that if I was going to be on a national television show, my words that came out of my mouth had to carry so much substance because of the view that people thought of her. And I wanted to see the world to see that she's a very humble girl, a girl next door, who became very successful and is trying to navigate the vicious world of ballroom according to how she thinks she can navigate it through.
Well, I will say, Lena, you called me and asked me to make sure that your mentee, your mentor was okay, as you see, Thaddeus as well.
So, and also, like I was saying, you disappeared and then it came back, and now we're seeing you on the runway, and then we're seeing you at the Met Gala, and we're seeing you in the shell, just all these different things outside of ballroom. And it seemed like you stepped back to take time and to feed into you and to do the things and living out your dreams. What was it that made you step back, and what was the recipe to that?
This is probably the most important question you can ask me, and I'm going to be elated to share this with you. One day I woke up. It was right around, you guys remember when President Obama was in office and we had this financial market crash.
Boots, bitch. That was the only time I gagged for real.
And we all woke up one day with no answers. And what I mean by that is I was in the business of using my beauty for my advantage. And it awarded me a lot of, I saw the world. I was privileged to wear some of the most gorgeous clothes in the world because I had the ability to manipulate men for money. When it came crashing down, I had no answers. My credit was shot up. I was in my early 30s. My sister, who idolizes me, just got married to her high school sweetheart. They both had got their college degrees. They got their starter home. And this is the one person that idolized me. And I was living a lie. My family saw me as this fabulous person, which I've always been. But the truth was twisted when I would go around them. And I woke up one morning in a panic attack because she was planning her wedding, and I was a big part of helping her plan this wedding. And as she was planning this wedding and my family was spending all this money on this wedding, in my opinion, on her wedding, and I'm bonding with, at the time, my brother, her fiance, which is now husband, with their family, and I'm helping with the designs and I had no clue once the wedding was over what life was going to be like. After the wedding, I was in New York. I wanted to do one last tour. You know, one last tour we do, and it was a failure. I ended up in the negative. And what that means, you put money out to take this trip to come back with thousands, and I came back broke. Oof. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what. I had a closet. I had $1 million wardrobe. No education, bad credit. I was stunning. I had dropped out of college. I was known all over the world for being fabulous. I was a model. I had a great resume. I didn't have structure. I didn't have a plan. When I was living in Houston at the time, I had to leave Chicago because Chicago had become a very unstable place for me. I was involved in a lot of things that I shouldn't have been involved in. And when I landed back in Houston, got into my car, and I was driving down 59. That's one of the major expressways in Houston. I looked to the right, and it was the Art Institute of Houston. When I was living in Chicago, I moved to Chicago, and I was at the Art Institute of Chicago. And unfortunately, I didn't finish because I decided to do other things with life at that time. I exited off the exit, and I went straight to the school, and I enrolled in college. Back. I didn't know how this was going to happen or what was going to happen because when I got to the school, I still owed a balance from my previous years in Chicago. The counselor that I met, when I walked in, she saw that spark in me. She saw my intelligence and my pizzazz, and she knew I was something special. And she did everything that she could do to get my credits transferred, help me with the loans, the financial aid, gave me the tour of the school. And once I was enrolled in college, the professors in college, I was in my mid-30s at the time, saw that in me. And they gave me the trajectory of who I could be and where I could go. Because the community wasn't doing that, and I didn't expect them to. You know, I was older. I was always on stage inspiring everybody with my looks and being this charismatic glamour god that I still am. But off of the floor, I was empty.
And who could you tell?
Well,
and you couldn't really tell anybody.
Absolutely anyone.
You know, they already had made
us.
Yeah, you're the grand dam. You can't tell nobody.
I have this persona, this perception. I didn't want to get read. I didn't want to be late. I didn't want to be an old, late queen with no education and upset. And I didn't want to be any of these things. I didn't. But we didn't have guidance because the generation before us, a lot of them were gone to heaven because of the health that plagued our generation before. So we were the mothers, the fathers, the aunties, the uncles, the aunts of our generation, the generation under us, and God, and some people older than us. When I got in college, I found my purpose again. And I met a lot of fashion historians and a lot of my professors that started to give me responsibility, because the only responsibility I had was waking up by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, going to get something to eat and worry about what I was going to wear the next ball, where I was going to get the money to buy the next designer bag or shoes, or how I was going to manipulate the situation to acquire these luxury items that I, in my mind at that time, believed I deserved, or created this fantasy life for myself because the community was feeding all of that air in my ear. And when I woke up from that bad dream, I realized it was all a delusion. It was all fake. And my professors gave me the belief to dream farther, and they fed into my talents. And they saw that it factor in me that I forgot that I had. Years later, I graduated, and that was the time I took a break from ballroom. And when I graduated from college, I graduated with a resume and an internship and editorial campaigns under my belt. A great modeling career, and I was on runways as a genderless model. Those are things that I dreamed of doing. And every time I was in a situation to grow, I realized I had nothing to offer because my life was a lie. Mm-hmm. And if you aren't willing to drop down to ground zero and work your way up the right way and get out of fantasy world and stay focused and continue to inspire, continue to be honest. When you look up, I was on the red carpet holding Lupita's Christian Dior gown at the Met Gala and escorting my mentee Lena Bloom down the red carpet at the Met Gala. And God took me places that I dreamed of being and doing. You know what I'm saying? I do realize that my impact has inspired culture all over the world. I do recognize that a lot of celebrity stylists, a lot of my mentees that I'm not going to mention, are doing amazing in their careers, that I will credit myself for pouring love into them. The love that we collectively did not necessarily get, which is why we have platforms and are able to walk into the rooms and do what we learned how to do from no one.
All right. Well, I know that we have another guest that's going to join us with the
I just knew you was gonna bring it.
I just like how honest that was for me because a lot of people are going in ballroom. As of me, I was one that was going through the same, how you just explained. I was going through the same exact thing. So,
gender non-conforming, we're genderless. However, I fall under the femme umbrella a lot. You know what I'm saying? I understand the struggle. A lot of my best friends are transgender women. You know what I'm saying? I identify to them as a trans woman. And I don't correct them because it's who they see me as.
yeah.
We're all connected here. I do understand the struggle. And I never want to be like them. And we know who them is. We all can look around and be like, I don't want to be like them. Oh my God, I don't want to be like them. That was my biggest fear, not being like them. And I knew I was idolized on the scene for being this glamorous, fashion, untouchable being. But when you are that's being put in a box, and it becomes more stressful because being flawless is a job. And there's always a letter in the word flawless out of place because no one's perfectly flawless. Mm-hmm. And when we stop lying to ourselves and be authentically us, we can push mountains to the side because at the end of the day, we're all special. We all have something to offer as Black, queer, and femme. We are a third sex. We cannot be put in a box. We come from nothing.
Questions.
Nothing was given to us.
What do you think about the gender
Well,
non-conforming category?
Should we wait until we bring her?
Yeah, we're gonna go. Well, we'll come back and we're gonna add another guest who happened to be in the comments and made the comment. There's a lot of talk about GNC, but there's never any GNC representation. So we definitely wanted to make sure that we had GNC representation for this conversation. Yeah. So when we come back, we will have our panel of GNC.
And don't forget, hit the bell at the right side of the screen so you'll be notified when a new episode drops every week. Don't forget, click like and subscribe.
Welcome back. B Hawk has entered the conversation. B Hawk, the artist, the activist, also Ballroom Runway and GNC Face. And we were having the conversation. You said you identify as GNC and non-binary, correct? Let's just jump right into it, shit. Like, first of all, explain to people the difference between GNC and non-binary.
But before we go there, like you made a comment and you was actually telling us that we needed to have this
I said that
conversation.
already.
No,
Yes, you did.
my question is, what made you feel as though you needed to call that out?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I just
go
want to know
ahead.
what made you feel like you needed to know because it's important, right? Like she said how we got here, but what made you react that way? There was an unction that made you like say, I'm going to tell them that they need to be doing this?
Well, one, thank y'all for having me. We love to see it. Okay, the hawk has landed.
Well, she is.
Femme, crazy, sexy, cool. Okay. This is definitely a moment because I'm a fan of the show. I do watch it religiously. So also, welcome to the BTFA world. Since I am the self-titled vice president of BTFA.
Yeah.
Self-titled, yes.
Wait,
Jordan did not give me that title. Let's be very clear.
They
I have to say that because you dragged me.
Wait.
But yes, why not? I am the second lead vocalist. Thank you. But yeah, to answer your question, I strongly believe as a New Yorker, if you see something, say something. And I had to use my throat chakra to see and point out something that I think was missing from the conversations. And I kept seeing a lot of non-binary talk, a lot of GNC talk, but I was like, where are the non-binary GNC people? Because y'all do know non-binary and GNC people, so invite them over, let's talk about it. And so here I am, from the comments to the studio.
I just want to say I love how you came even at us with the comment, wanting to have a conversation or just saying it needs to be had, because sometimes people can get disrespectful when they feel like they're being left out of conversations. And I just love the fact that you were just like, it's time to have that conversation.
Because I know what that's like as someone who is in a marginalized community, being trans, being visually, like, for me, gender nonconforming, even though now it's giving titties at the top, but it's still non-binary at the bottom. I think
I've got so many questions, and I'm gonna ask from an ignorant standpoint. Like, I'm gonna ask the questions that people always ask. Even if I know, no, I'm saying. I mean, when I say ignorance, I just mean not knowing. Ignorance means me not knowing. So that's why I'm gonna ask the questions that I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask questions that people ask me about it, and even if I know it, some of the things I'm gonna ask you because I want this to be a teaching moment.
Right. So for me, gender nonconforming is more so a visual aesthetic of not conforming to the binaries of male or female. And non-binary to me is a sense of freedom, is a sense of how I feel internally versus externally. So that's the each one teach one version of how
So
I
then,
feel.
do you also identify as trans?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because I wasn't assigned non-binary at birth. I was assigned male at birth, and I no longer identify as a male. So, for me, that is my transition, right? So, yeah.
So you said titties at the top,
Absolutely.
clearly, which means
Clearly.
Well, yes.
which means you're in a state of transition, like you're taking
Yes.
Well, physically,
hormones.
yes. It's been 3.5 years.
So is that not picking a gender?
No, like no, right?
That was
Because
But her
like,
answer, she about to answer.
Is that not conforming to a gender? Is that not like picking a gender? If you're changing your aesthetic to look more like a
Feminine.
woman.
Well, for me, it's feminine. It's not really trying to fit into the box of what a woman looks like, because women look all sorts of ways and shapes and bodies. And so for me, and I speak for me, I don't speak for the entire non-binary GNC community. I'm just speaking from my experience. And I think that's where we make mistakes a lot. We don't speak for our own experiences. We try to speak for the collective. And I think that's where there's always, confusion that happens a lot. So for me, I started taking hormones because I wanted to feel just more like myself. I wanted to feel a sense of softness. I wanted to feel a sense of connection with just how I felt internally. And it has definitely been a journey of ups and downs. There's been moments where I'm like, when I first started getting breast tissue, I looked in the mirror, I was like, honey, what is going on here? Like, this is not what even though I know it could happen, it's just, you don't really expect it to happen so fast. And I pretty much lowered my dosage, wasn't taking blockers for a while because I was just like, I don't know. It was affecting my sex life. I was like, this is too much. But I look in the mirror, even like once a month, and I'm like, well, am I a trans woman? And then it always goes back, no, you're not. I am who I am because I am who I am. And I stand in that every day. I've been openly non-binary for about 5-6 years now. And I really know that is me at my true core in real time right now. I don't know what I'm gonna and who I'm gonna look like.
I was gonna say, because we have a lot of non-gender who end up being trans.
Absolutely. But that's not everybody. So I don't I can't tell what the future's gonna hold, but for right now in this moment, this is exactly who I am and this is how I feel comfortable.
What are your pronouns? Because you come from an era where we didn't have names, the GNC, and we didn't know how to name it. So, a lot of you kind of feel differently sometimes. So what do you feel about pronouns?
Obviously, I was born he. The majority of the community addresses me as she. I identify as they. I have been walking and presenting myself as they my whole life. I do consider myself as genderless. My strongly opinion, genderless is either or. It's baseless. I escape the pronouns through the image of fashion. And I put together looks that the community and the world can identify as something of a genderless form, so that now it's becoming art. It's my strong belief, once you physically alter your body and your body develops into one or the other, identifiably, you could be perceived as something else. So in your case, you're absolutely stunning. I'm seeing your beautiful breast. I would assume you're a transgendered woman.
Most do.
So for me, who lives a gender non-conforming life, where it's just nothing, you know, but clothes and an energy, I'm often more mistaken as a they or a he or a femboy or anything under the femme umbrella, not transgendered woman or transsexual. Maybe trans femme under the trans femme umbrella because my energy is magnetic and divine feminine. I understand that. But looking at you, I'm looking at a woman. I'm not looking at gender non-conforming. I'm looking at this tall, statuesque woman because it is my belief.
Depends on the
Because
day.
Let them finish, please. Let them
I'm
finish.
letting them finish, but I'm just like, I jump because I'm blown
such a touchy.
away by the
Yes, that's what-
conversation, because I hope our viewers are really taking
to see
this
what this
in, because
is.
this is why it was so important for us to have two different representations of what that physically looks like and how it's easy to assume just by looking at someone.
We are sharing a generation where it's very important we have these conversations on the anatomy of our body and the ability to explain ourselves and who we feel we are with these pronouns, because we live our lives as who we are every day, and we want people to respect us as who we are. I see in her a transsexual woman because I see.
Is that offensive?
You can see what you want to see, but I know who I am inside, and I think we have to. It can be tough, right? I think we've all been brainwashed into this ideology of if you see someone based on what you've been taught growing up, you can automatically just make that assumption. I am a millennial, and I grew up in New York, so I like to ask people and not assume things. But I know it can be tough for a lot of people because they see me as one way depending on my outfit of the day. I knew where I was going today, so I was like, let's switch it up. But the girls have seen me in a multitude of different looks throughout the past few years. And so sometimes I give hoodie and sneakers and Dangy, and sometimes I'm giving
But can that
high
be
thumb.
because that's the hardest thing for me, to understand. It's like when you alter yourself because you have some full-fledged trans women, who have even gone to the point of SRS, and they still say that they're non-gender conforming. Break that down in layman's terms.
I think I want to take a stab at it.
Okay.
Gender nonconforming is about the freedom to express yourself, whether feminine or masculine or neither. That's why THADDEUS continues to say genderless.
Okay.
So when it's gender nonconforming, that means you can incorporate other.
So let me
of
stop
both
saying
or
gender
neither,
nonconforming.
right? So
Let me-
genderless is cool, but gender nonconforming
No,
is also
but-
another way. But I think for me, what people get caught up on is how someone can say I'm gender non-conforming or I'm non-binary. And I'm
Non-binary
also
is what I
trans.
mean. Yeah.
And I'm also trans, right? Because people's thoughts of trans is you're transitioning to be something else. So when you're sitting there, and I needed that to happen, I'm so glad that happened. Because what you're seeing is how everybody will see them. they would see, oh, well, they have the boobies, you know, they're transitioning, they're gonna be a femme queen, they're gonna be a trans woman. But they're saying, no, that's not who I'm gonna be. My body, my decision, my choice. But again, like, to have that happen was so, like, awakening to me, because this is what's happening with the viewers. So it's important that you hash that out, right? Because for me, you incorporate elements of trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming. This is what you said, right?
There's a multitude. There's a layer. You can't always judge a book by its cover. Sometimes you have to read the book, you know, to really get into it in totality. And I think what I was put on this earth to do is to force people to do that. Force people to get to know the person versus just see them from their outside appearance. And I think that's been, going back to like ballroom, that's been the struggle in a sense, because ballroom in a sense is very binary in a lot of ways. So, you know, they see me and they're like, okay, femme queen, right? And I'm like, no. So they're like, wait, what is that? Like, I live in a world outside of ballroom, so even though I've been in ballroom, I'm like ballroom adjacent. And I think that's where the struggle happens a lot for a lot of people that are in the ballroom world. You grew up there's butch queens, there's femme queens, and then there's up in drags, whatever the case may be. But there's such a diverse spectrum of everything else that's going on. And I think there's a lot more gender non-conforming and non-binary people in ballroom that we just don't know about.
I know,
because
definitely.
a lot of them have a tough time
people.
navigating that world. And so that's why I was very open when I was in Gorgeous Gucci about it. And Jack threw that ball and had categories for GNC non-binary people. And I think that was just an eye-opening experience. That made me feel great because I got a lot of pushback in that house.
I have a question. For both of you. What do you think about ballroom evolving into? Do you think we're missing new categories for you guys, for the GNC community?
And non-binary, because they're different.
Yeah, non-binary.
I think so. I think so. I think there could be more, and I think there has to be gender non-conforming and non-binary people involved in helping to create those lanes and those categories.
What about realness? Do you think there could be an?
I am not tapped into the GNC non-binary realness categories.
Okay, thank you.
I think, well, if you base off realness from a ballroom standpoint, the definition of
how could you be real if you're not choosing?
Ballroom-wise, kind of is the opposite of non-binary and gender non-conforming in a sense. So the two don't really make sense together, and this is just my opinion. I think there are other ways and categories for GNC and non-binary people to shine. There are other ways and other categories to create for non-binary and GNC people to shine. I don't think realness is one of them. I think realness should be trans men and trans women. And that's okay, and that's gonna be all right. You know, I don't think there's always has to be room and space for everybody, but I think there can be places where, you know, people can navigate and make space for and all those other things.
I'm glad you said that, but I want you, because I
That's
want to
just
say
me.
something. I want to say something after that.
I think it starts with the energy project, that what you come off as with the energy. I think I've convinced myself that anyone that identifies as genderless or gender non-conforming has to understand how to present themselves at all times so people don't get their gender confused. That's a part of the assignment to yourself when you decide to become, or when you grow into who you are. You have to project an image and make it easier on the eye based on gender. I choose to do such in the garments that I wear to keep the confusion down on who I am.
And this is in ballroom aspect.
And off the floor.
And off the floor because GNC.
But how
But
is
this is a specific question. I want to know, like, how do you feel in ballroom? Do you think we need to evolve categories
Right now,
for
I think
GNC?
I think we're where we need to be.
Okay.
I feel that as 5 years from now, we can revisit this conversation. It'll be much more of a image as a whole that we can all agree to.
Yeah.
I do feel like no one's identity should be pushed to the side based on their ideology, belief on who they are. But I do feel when you are in a competitive sport and you position yourself as one thing, you have to be prepared for the pushback as a whole and what society sees you as.
And I think that's been the hardest
That's
part
been tough.
in ballroom because honestly speaking, when I went to Germany, that was the first time that I saw a lot of GNC categories. I was floored, and at one point, I didn't know what I was judging, and you can clearly see it, right? But they took the time to express that to me because there was this beautiful non-binary person who just, the women's category was just before that, and that person did not walk. But they walked the GNC category, and this was anatomically someone who was.
What was the name of the category?
It was GNC Femmes.
Okay.
But the person was AFAB, assigned female at birth.
They look
So
like a
I'm-
stud
oh
or something?
No, they were breathtakingly beautiful.
They look like a woman presenting.
Yes. But
So
they
what
were
made them
women.
GNC?
But I was just like, I was confused when they walked, and I'm sorry I can't remember your name, but I remember our conversation. But Rudy and Sonia and Georgina, thank you, and Evie for creating that lesson for me. And they were standing there, and I was stuck. I was literally stuck, like, they missed their category. Like, this can't be right. Like, because when we think about GNC, it's usually always a masculine presenting.
I wouldn't say
Right.
masculine, but something androgynous,
So
right?
androgynous. So I'm talking about hands down. That category was yours. Why you over here? What's going
It's just
on?
based on what the category is
And
bringing.
they leaned over to me and said, "Oh no, I'm GNC." And I looked, and I just was like, "Okay, I'm gonna give it to this one." I was just confused, and it wasn't that I gave it to the other person because I was confused. The other person did have more face, but they were so breath, and I felt like that was a lesson for me to understand that maybe
What
we
did you
could
understand?
that we cannot get so based on aesthetic. This was an AFAB person telling me that they're gender non-conforming.
So let's say this. I don't know how this is gonna sound
There
because like, so let's say you have a situation like that, right? And then you have these other. Because for me, I do feel like it's a mix. Like it should be. I should really see that you're not picking a gender. Like you're not presenting as such. Like
agree.
You feel like it
especially
should
for
be more
one category.
androgynous,
Yeah,
I
it should be like more of an androgynous
I
because
completely
you could
agree
just
with
be
you,
like,
Tempress.
oh, I know I could win this category. Like so,
completely
let me
agree.
go
But I
ahead
think-
and like.
but I think
that's
that's
the
like-
conversation
But I think
that's
they're trying
happening.
to
A lot of
control.
people
I
are
think
saying,
that people are trying to control.
But when do you?
and
When
not
is
trying
it?
to
When is
accept
it taken
things for
away
what
from
it
ball?
is.
When is it sticking to ballroom? I mean, I believe in evolving, but when do you start? Like, how much do we chip away from the authenticity of ballroom to make
Incorporate
everybody
everybody
comfortable?
happy.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta. I looked at this because I used to feel this way. But what I started to realize is there's a lot of new categories that I have walked. You know, like there's categories, they change all the time. I mean, it hasn't been the same categories for 50 years. It's been things have been changing. So what's different than adding GNC face? What is that going to do to the other 50? Nothing. Do we need
think so.
I mean, I
to? Do we
get
need?
that.
We got so
I-
many categories.
To help the
We do
community.
have a lot of categories. I think that ballroom needs a 6-month break, but
yes.
Yes.
but I do feel like, but you know, I really do feel like that it is a place that we and ballroom can find a space to make for everybody. I feel like that would be nice. Because when I go out the country, that's all I see. A lot of categories.
We need
No
to.
shade,
We need
like,
to.
it's a
I'm
lot
with
of GNC.
And
What was you about to
and mind
say?
you, they
'Cause
finished the ball within three
On
hours.
time.
They're
And we
professional.
talk about, and it's
On
about,
time,
They're
and the ball is
professional.
over. They
and they respect every
they have an
community. Every
after
community,
party.
every
They're
community has
professional.
their
We do
own
have
category.
egos.
Yeah, we do deal with our
And-
egos.
We deal with a lot of
And
egos.
wait, but gag, and they don't throw all the categories together. It's no female figure categories. It's femme queen face. You got GNC face.
They
you
probably
got the
start
women's
more in
face.
time.
They do, but it's also not
more
55
professional.
categories.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. I don't think
No,
a ball
it
should be.
really
I don't think it
isn't.
should be no more than 20. Like if you don't have your
But then
that
that's
category
when
that day,
everybody's
you
gonna
just
start
don't.
Saying, oh well, you need to break our category, or well then you need to.
No,
break our category.
this ball doesn't have that, but the
The
next
the
ball
next
does.
So
That's how
no,
I
and
was
that's
like,
that's
yeah.
no, it's
Absolutely.
true.
That's how it was. Like
It's
you,
true.
bitch, we
If
ain't
your
have
category
everything.
wasn't there, then you don't walk. But I do understand, like it's a ball every. It was just a ball this weekend, and I'm like,
There's
oh,
so many balls.
Like it's so
They
many
said the money
balls.
wasn't given out. I don't know, but I just heard that.
They-
But
What?
that ball in Philly, they
I
said the
do
money
think we
wasn't
need
given
a
out.
whole. I think we need a management and consultant when it comes to ballroom, period. But I feel like the major thing is that I think it's
Who will we
I
trust?
think with certain
Who's that
things
person?
when it comes to GNC, I think it is. Somebody asked me this question when I was in Sweden. I did a Q&A, and she was just like, they were just like, what category do you think needs to evolve for GNC? And it took me a second to think about it in that map, but I think, once I thought about it, I understood why they was asking me that question. And I think, what's wrong with us opening doors for more categories? And
I don't
for
think there's
more
anything wrong.
people?
I just think we need an understanding.
Yeah, I
Like,
think so.
I think that there needs to be, people like more conversations whereas we
Right.
understand what we're looking for.
And I'll say what I said to the family and my siblings out there in Germany. Give ballroom time to grow.
Absolutely.
Give ballroom time to grow. We are getting there. You are being seen. And I would love to give you a message, but I think, as we move to close, I would love for you to probably like to say, before Tempress closes.
I have one more
what would
question,
you, no,
though.
I said before Tempress closes it. What would y'all say? Just think about this before we close. What would you say to the audience member who identifies like you? What would you say to them? And think about that as we answer Tempress' next question.
Okay. Question. So a lot of times, as like with the trans, like so non-binary and gender non-conforming is under the trans umbrella. And a lot of trans people have a problem with that because that was a journey that we fought for, and it kind of seems like maybe it causes confusion. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we don't have the privilege to be like, bitch, I ain't a girl today. Like, and I don't want to. I fought to be who I am, and this is what I wanted. And so, back in the day, like we would be just like drags. Like, if you were male presenting and you felt like a girl, then the next day, oh, bitch, she up in drags. Or if you're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was just terms that. So, what do you say to that? Like, do you feel like? Because I know some non-binary people, and I love your jewelry, bitch. I know some non-binary and GNC people feel like they don't have to be under that umbrella. That's just something that everybody else made.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that, as well as you?
I mean, it just depends on the person. I think I know a lot of non-binary people that don't identify as trans or are not trans, and I know people that are. And I think there's space for everyone to exist. I think there's space for all of us to exist. I don't think we have to pull people into transness. None of us own transness, but I think there's space for everyone. I say the more the merrier. I feel like the more trans people, the better, to get the movement going and to get this ball rolling and to empower each other to do better things. This is the thing I be seeing in the comments. Y'all know how you feel, Asia. What are y'all talking about?
She just Valentin's face is like, what?
No, she don't want to pack. She don't want no pack. She don't want to pack for. She don't want to army. You know what an army says?
People can come into this trans world and this trans community.
Movement, because it feels like an agenda. Like, the more the merrier. We can get them movement. It is not an agenda.
It's not.
Do you also feel like the GNC is an agenda sometimes?
No, I don't. But
you said that.
But I think
No.
I think that no. Here's the thing. No,
I think both things could be true, though.
What I did say was that the more we continue to push, like the increase, it feeds into other rhetoric that we're grooming other people to join the movement and push an agenda, and that is not, emphatically not what we're doing. So I'm careful with word choice when I'm saying things, which is
Because a lot of us done it without thinking it was going to be a fight.
You know what I'm saying?
I had thought that way. I literally thought this
right, from
same.
an activist,
I literally
that's
thought this
movement
way.
work, bro.
Yeah, like
I was
These are
with
people
you.
identities. So I think that for me, gender nonconforming is basically a way that you express yourself, but it's also a self-identification. Just like being non-binary is a self-identification. And I just think that, you know, sometimes we can weaponize our identities in ways that looks like we're promoting an agenda. And we do that. And two things can exist at the same time. I always say that be mindful with your word choice, because when we're thinking about activism, someone, and if you could be like, oh, it is a movement. See, they just said it. You know, no, that's not what we're saying here.
I still say it's a movement.
But it's not a movement.
We can agree to disagree.
Okay,
That's fine.
We love disagreements here.
Right.
I used to how you were though. To be honest, I was just like thinking like that. I was one of those ones that were like, we don't have nothing to do with that. I've seen it. But I have been getting. I love to be educated. I love to learn. That's me. And I just felt like it's not my place to tell someone who and what
they are.
Like that's
And I love to be educated too. And I don't feel that
respect.
we should be like, sometimes we come down on like, so if a person keeps saying something over and over, then you know that they're trying it. But if they say it and they want to learn, then I'm here for that. And I also felt like we had a journey, so I cannot slight anybody else's journey, and I don't want to take away from that. I do want to learn, and sometimes it is a little difficult. Like, I'd be like, okay.
Now we can understand. Now we can understand this woman though. That's a nice
I've been
conversation.
understanding this woman, bitch. I was like, bitch,
And that's
I
just
can
another
understand.
conversation.
That
No,
is
but
another.
that's when I understood that I became the person that we're hating us.
Right.
And that
when you
moment,
become
I'm
the
like,
oppressor.
I was like, wait,
Right.
how you?
Nah, I was like that too. I'm a woman. I'm
like,
a woman
wait.
of trans experience, and I'm not trying to take anybody's journey away from them
No.
or their experience.
Like,
You know what I'm saying?
Thank
Like,
you.
so it is what it
That's
is.
right.
Like, I've matured. Sometimes you have to mature in that. Like, sometimes you know you start out thinking one way, and then once you mature and you realize
Absolutely.
and you get comfortable in who you
said
are,
the words out of my
then
mouth.
you like, I don't want to take away from your experience or your experience. This is my experience, and this is how I feel, and I shouldn't. How you feel shouldn't have nothing to do with how I feel or take anything away from how I feel.
Exactly.
Identity is definitely something we identify as. In my 25 plus years of walking in this form, in this anatomy, I do feel it starts with androgynous and androgyny. And under that, it's different forms under that, from my experience in wearing women's garments, women's undergarments, heels, but I always made sure I stayed away from disguising my authentic beauty with makeup and nails and hair, because I didn't want to be put in that box, even though I was unsure of.
What box is that?
In public. And on the competition floor, as I said, and even in modeling, it was always androgynous, you know, and we can look up that word and see what that means. But under the genderless, non-binary form, I have to say to each his own, because, you know, we can't say who someone identifies as. But what I can, two things that are proven for sure, and with my experience, most gender non-conforming queers often do become transgendered women. From my experience, from what I've witnessed, some of my friends have transitioned later 20s, early 30s.
Because I say, I
You
think
said
I
early
was
20s?
non-gender.
You
Did you
say early
In London.
20s?
Yeah, in London, yeah.
I
we
feel
was.
y'all were.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because I'm not going to be
this is
trans.
why-
I was
Absolutely.
very fat.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So that's
I
why
just-
I had to throw that out
So
there.
let's lighten up the mood. Oh, you had something to say,
No,
Dom?
no. I mean, before we lighten up the moment, because we always, but What would you say to a gender nonconforming person viewing this right now? What is your message to them? And what is your message?
So I do think it is a movement, and a lot of people who don't know who they are jump on a movement for popularity. And they know the movement in not knowing who you are or what you want to be.
It's a journey.
You know what I'm
Standing
saying?
on
Social
who you
media
are.
can be a
That's the
movement,
movement.
with your identity.
Yeah, she's triggered.
And with all these new terms that's out, it's allowing our younger peers to fall under some umbrella other than just either or, which I have to respect that. However, in doing so, when you identify as a certain gender or genderless, I think that how you present yourself in public should be almost a no-brainer because you are identifying who you are. Example, I strongly feel someone that's physically built like a male should not be wearing a dress showing masculine features in a tutu. That's my opinion. It's not built for...
I'm
Hold
glad.
Ladies.
No, I'm glad you're saying this as a
It's not
person. Because if we said it, if we could crucify,
it's not
that we believe that, because we think people should wear whatever they want.
It's not for the...
Thaddeus, the fashion icon.
It's not, so listen, it's not for the canvas. A dress is not made for the canvas of the anatomy of a muscular built form. The designer or the architect who had a vision of designing the dress didn't design it to put it on something of what it shouldn't belong on. This is a fact. This is a fact. I do feel that certain clothes are for certain people with certain bodies. That way they can project an image that they want to project. And if they aren't built for the clothes that's made, it's not for them. It's not for their anatomy. It's not for their aesthetic. And that's okay. It just means that you have to find what works for you so that society can identify you as who you see yourself as.
And you,
Who you want to say?
Well, I say F society, and the binary norms and all the other things.
No.
I'm not here for the binary. I'm really not. But I understand why it's there. I understand why we've come to this place because of white supremacy. I would say tap into your ancestry if you're black or brown. And also, don't let anyone dictate or tell you exactly who you are. You know who you are. Take your time. Be patient with yourself.
we've been brainwashed. I feel like
Yeah.
we have been
we have
been
definitely.
brainwashed.
Definitely.
I do think that we have been brainwashed. I mean, that's why it's so hard
Why
to
you
get
think you got
away
triggered?
I'm
from
just
norms.
joking.
Why do you think you just got triggered?
I'm just joking, but
White supremacy is nasty.
ain't no down with the binary over here, okay, baby? I'm down with the binary.
I mean, for
You're
me,
down with you, huh?
I would prefer a non-binary
I'm
world,
binary.
but-
What?
I believe in a binary experience.
You said you what?
I live in a binary.
You do.
I live as a woman.
Yeah.
I live in a binary experience. So
Okay.
when I hear someone say, I'm not with the binary, sometimes it's harmful
Yeah.
because that means you're trying to dismantle something and take away something from me so you could be you.
But it was a
and-
construct. I mean,
Right,
like
it is a construct. I know that. But it's not something that I feel like I was indoctrinated to believe. Like this is just
You
who
was.
I was.
You was the.
no, but you was. Well, you was because
I was always
if we
a
were
woman.
born into non-binary, if we were born into
No.
non-binary,
That's your experience.
bitch, it's not my
no,
experience.
no,
It's
that's
just
your
like
experience. I know.
religion.
Now you
But
would
we'll
not
talk
have her sitting
just
in
like
that church
religion.
for
But
5
we'll
hours.
talk
Just
about that
saying.
on another conversation.
I do love binary people. My mother's a binary person, and I do love her.
I live within the confines of binary. I understand what
I
I
do
was
too,
born
but-
as,
Yeah.
I
That
know
doesn't
who
mean-
I am. That's like I respect you.
Where was you born at? Sir?
I
I want to ask
You
that
said what
question
was you
because
born
she
at?
said-
She was born as a femme queen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh?
I just
born as
my
a femme
body
queen.
part didn't, it just didn't align. So I
'Cause
had
if
that-
you-
I
if
had
you're
that-
binary-
I
if
had
you-
that fixed.
You look fab.
Yeah.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Okay, let's lighten up the load because we've been real heavy today.
Yes, we have some cute questions for you
Yeah.
guys.
So let's play the.
The Femme Queen Crazy Sexy Cool Game.
Ooh.
These questions are going to get a little spicy.
Okay, little
Today
spice
is
on
called the
it.
non-binary crazy.
Oh my god!
Let's be sec- this is called
Don't start
GNC.
that.
So you guys are going to get questions. If you do not want to
You
answer,
Look,
guys.
Oh,
see?
shit.
See what I mean?
Look, I was scared to say.
Nothing.
You guys ready?
I had to do it.
So-
I had to do it for you, Harlow.
So when they say guys, like that's not.
That was a
me.
joke.
I
They
mean,
know we don't
They
mean
know
guys
we
like
don't
No, I
that.
just want to
I'm
put that for
triggered.
the audience. So,
I get it. Go ahead. Sorry. Your show.
so
Back to your show.
So
Sorry.
you can, if you don't answer the question, you either take a shot. Yeah. So you know what time it is. This is where we get crazy, we get sexy, and we get cool. This is the Femme Queen Crazy and Sexy Cool Shot Game Hour. And we're about to get messy with the girls. Stay tuned.
This is the key. You keep a trans man on your arm. Who is one trans man you want a piece of?
Oh. Oh, so you like the trans man?
I don't like this question.
I feel like I've been set up. Oof.
Who's your crush?
Wow, you
I
know what
have
that question
many.
is.
But my boo thing is out there. My boo thing is
Who
out
is
there.
it?
My boo thing is out there.
What's the name?
Also, you're going to take
Take a
a
shot.
You don't take a shot, boo. I mean, that's not a real answer.
You know, shout out to Bailey. I'll just say that.
Bailey, is that like a last name or first name?
It's
or
a
what is
last
that?
name.
Oh, here you go,
Oh,
baby.
sorry.
Yeah,
And that's all you need to know.
yeah.
It's Bailey. Are they like no?
Is that Chloe Bailey?
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Is the Bailey
Okay.
non?
They're not binary.
They're not binary too.
Mhm. I'm a T for T situation. But I have been tapping into the Butch Queens lately. They've been
Actually,
they've been on my body.
I'm into the non-binary as well.
Oh.
Like
you're
dating
welcome.
The
one?
guys, no, we just been hanging. I mean, oh my gosh.
See?
This guy.
Wait,
This guy.
Well, I did hear you
Patience
say you like
is
being
key.
brain fucked.
Huh?
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
say you like being brain fucked.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised how you can, where it comes from.
No,
Yeah.
I'm open.
Absolutely.
I'm living life.
Absolutely.
I'm living.
Absolutely.
Okay. You're a self-proclaimed fashion icon. What was your worst look? We'll insert a picture.
I
in
think
post.
that's
You sure that wasn't?
That was for me.
that. I think that was for you.
Ooh, That
You
was,
mixed the
no, that
questions.
was for you.
I mean, I am
Oh, okay.
a style icon, but fashion icon is close. My worst look? It was probably during a New York Fashion Week moment. I had these like silver metallic like pants on. It was giving Tin Man. And I probably wouldn't wear that look
Again.
So
Okay.
yeah.
One more.
Good luck on finding the photo.
Somebody's Googling me right now.
They're gonna go.
Damn. But since we're here, why did you leave the house of Gucci?
Oh.
What is your relationship with the leaders of the house now? Well, I left because I just don't think I was. I don't think I was a good fit for the house, to be quite honest. I think, and I think a lot of people who knew me through and through also felt that way. But I had just came off the heels of Pose. I was on set with Jack a lot, and I was very close to like Danny and Lee Rose, and so I just thought, I was like, hey, why not? I think this would be really great and fun. But I think what I know is mixed with my activism and being non-binary, it was just it felt like a battle a lot. It felt like a lot of conflict, and it was a little tough. And I think also with my personality, I'm a very opinionated person.
Yeah.
Some of you know, some of you don't. So I think that was tough for me as well. And as far as the leaders, I love Jack.
Oh,
I think Jack is sweet.
okay.
Yeah.
And the rest?
Well, they're here.
So I am a part of the House of Gorgeous Gucci, and I am a leader. I am the Grand Dame. And it's very unfortunate that we lost such an amazing talent in the house that I represent. And when you were in your position to departure, I had just got there. We started our bond, and we were, I was like, oh my God, she's fascinating to me. And I remember
They are fascinating.
they
She and they.
Oh, okay.
are
Okay,
they stunning. And I took it upon myself to wanting to know why. And I was under your, I don't know, it was your Instagram threads or a group thread or whatever. And I remember you had text that you went to Florida, and you walked a ball, and it was a discrepancy with a trophy. You didn't receive a trophy.
It was a multitude of things, but that was the cherry on top, yeah.
And you were upset that you felt that certain members of the organization didn't represent you for your trophy and for other things that you felt should have been accommodated for you as an artist and as a talent. And I remember you put something at the bottom of that text. I bet if it were Lola, they would have jumped to the opportunity to address and fix it.
Oh, yes.
And when I read that, I said, oh.
Lola is the overall mother of the house.
Lola Gorgeous Gucci is the iconic.
We had Lola on the second season. We had Lola.
Lola? What? Is Lola not a human being? Should she not be held accountable for her actions?
So she said.
It's personal, not business.
She said that if it was Lola in the situation about her trophy confusion and whatever misunderstanding that happened, it would have been handled promptly. Well, me walking the ball for 25 years, in any house, there is a hierarchy.
Hate to see it.
And in a hierarchy, people who got to that hierarchy has been consistent over time to get the respect that they deserve because of their receipts. See, in the sport of ballroom, it's about receipts. Receipts give you bragging rights because receipts gives you consistency to be who you are. When I came to ball, my first 2 years, do you know how many times I went to quit or fall out or because I felt someone didn't handle a situation for my needs? This is your dream and your aspirations, and it's not gonna be easy. But what I can say about the House of Gorgeous Gucci, we are a family, and we take it very seriously. And I do not think how you felt was anything intentional towards you. And in our organization and in a sport, it's levels to things. And if I recall, didn't you win that night?
I did.
But you won. The moment that you won it was made.
But where's my trophy?
That has nothing to do with Lola and the Gorgeous Gucci. It was a mix-up in a situation where some things you have to brush off because it's unless something was intentional, directed to harm you or to maliciously hold you back, then your opinion can be more valid. But when you utilize an overall mother over a mix-up over a trophy, I think that it was kind of immature because in a house, like I said, it's built on hierarchies. And you have to work your way to get to that pinnacle of a Lola.
And we would just like to say, normally when we're playing Femme Queen Crazy Sexy Cool, what doesn't happen, there's no challenges. But this is lovely because, we can come to you if
But
we
they
can get a
necessarily
conclusion.
don't have to come to anything, in my opinion. I think that you said something. They're the representative for the house. They're going to, make a statement, and we should just leave it there and go into the question.
Oh, she's still phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I had to
Absolutely.
say my input because I was part of the thread because I was distraught. I'm like, why is this girl leaving? This is not, she I felt,
Both could be true.
It was really, it all went down due to respect. And when someone travels outside of New York, where they live, and put in the work, and everyone around you is getting trophies and things of that nature, because it's more than just.
So did you walk off and not go get your trophy?
No,
or-
I was told that they were going to find my trophy and they were going to give it to me, and that never happened. So then, I believe his name was Cash.
Oh, it was Cash Ball.
It was Cash and Jack's birthday ball, I believe, in Miami.
Oh.
And so I was given I think a Butch Queen Up in Drag's face trophy instead. And then I wasn't given an apology for it. So to me, that was a slap in the face. So I said, you know what? Y'all can have this. I still took my trophy. But at the end of the day, y'all can have this. And good luck.
Well, they just said it. They wanted the respect of their own trophy.
Yeah.
I understand.
Sometimes
both sides
I think
of
that
it.
sometimes I'm not gonna go that deep. But let's go into you can answer your questions.
Rank the host outfits from best to worst.
Well, I'm laid back. I'm laid back, but I gave a nod to Gucci. That question is a cleavage.
Wow.
What is that?
Be honest.
The girls like this hustle. I don't know.
So there's no worst. I think everyone looks fabulous.
You gotta take a shot.
I will take a shot after this. I feel that when we wake up in the morning, whatever we feel like giving is what is giving. And when you give it when it gives, it doesn't need to be said.
Let's go.
That's a
That was
key.
nice. That was nice.
That was over.
She like, go ahead. She must feel cute today.
Which ballroom house has the worst fashions?
Bitch.
Ooh.
I can say 25 years in the game. I cannot say which ballroom house has the worst fashions because the houses as a whole now are trying to make an effort to form more of dress codes. And I think
Shout out to Marjella.
I think that trend is getting more popular, and the houses are being more strict on those dress codes. So I really can't sit there and single-handedly point which house has the most fashions because we all express ourselves through that. So it would be me be doing injustice to point a particular
Child,
house
that sound like a
about
shot
that.
too.
I'm gonna take a shot on that because I don't.
Don't feel forced to pick a house if you don't necessarily.
Well, I don't pay
feel that
attention
way.
to that. So I'm gonna say this: there are people who I don't agree with their wearing, but I'm a ballroom competitor. 99% of my career in ballroom has been in the back, getting ready to compete. I'm not on the sidelines. I'm not in the chat groups. I'm not in the. I'm blind to that. I'm a competitor. I get on the floor to compete, to set a standard for fashion. Do I think some of the girls look an absolute buffoon? Absolutely. Do I think the girls need to get it together? Absolutely.
Name them.
I can't single-handedly point anybody out.
Oh, she's
But
on that Henny, baby.
what I can say,
That's the Henny.
certain clothes,
You want to talk about my trophy fashion?
certain clothes are not made for certain people's body. And when people can understand that, then I think that their style will go to scales that they've dreamed of doing.
Oh, is it?
They said no makeup and muscles.
Since you're bringing
One
names,
more.
I wanted to name them.
There's none. They-
You got
they-
one
next
more.
question.
Ooh!
You got one more.
I need a real question. Let me really be able to read somebody. All these politically correct questions.
Those are both reads.
Name one fashion icon or legend that you don't see it for.
Well, this is your chance.
Name them.
Here we go.
Not the drum roll.
Drum roll, please. I don't see it for really no one in terms of on the competitive floor. I think I'm in a lane of my own. I think that no one. I think I am the most innovative fashionista in the world. I think that no one can come for me. I think that I'm so far ahead of the rest of the field based on my receipts in the last 5 years. I have produced some of the most phenomenal fashion moments in the history of ballroom with the support of the House of Gorgeous Gucci.
So you just walked against Michi, Lawrence, and Michi won the category. So you don't see anyone. Are you saying you don't see Michi or Lawrence or those people?
I respect Michi. He's phenomenal. He's an icon. I respect Miss Lawrence.
Do you think Michi should have beat you?
I do not think Michi should have won, for one. When I was invited to walk that particular category by the House of Tichy, I specifically asked a year ago, who is the judges? Because I would not be coming to Atlanta to be having people who aren't qualified to judge someone of my stature and caliber. Little behold, they had someone on the panel that's been in ballroom 2 years that was oblivious to trends and concepts and designer couture. Tichy's, what happened? Hello!
And on that note,
however, we, the people, said what needed to be said.
And on that note, we the people. On that note, we the people.
Hashtag we are the people. So look, listen. We are. We have to walk to make moments because if we allow people, especially people that has been in ballroom 10 plus years, it's a lot. If you're in ballroom 10 plus years and someone's judging you that has not been in ballroom that long, why the fuck are you judging us? Why the fuck is these goddamn ballroom houses putting people on these grand prizes to fuck up the goddamn motherfucking moment? What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Fuck up the money.
What the fuck is going on?
Fuck
It's
is going
because people can grow bigger than the category and they'd rather see you not win just because that's their power. You know what? Fuck you. I said it.
So on that note, fuck you. It's been another episode of Femme Queen Crazy.
Sexy.
Ooh.
Remember, it'll always be about me.
And we the people.
And we, the people. Ladies, can I get a shot?
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Okay.
Yes, make sure you
And it's no shade.
And it's no shade.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Cheers. We did it. From the comments to
Next
the
time,
house.
Okay,
if y'all
bitch.
have a fashion category, however y'all write it, any grand prize category. I want to say before we end, when it came to the Landon Ball, when they had Femme Queen Face, I loved how Dee Dee was able to narrate the category
And put us in certain room.
and put the face girls in a light that they so deserve. I thought the Landon Ball would have been
the star of something.
absolutely, because I know
You said that.
the fashion house that they are wrote the category. But y'all wrote a category and allowed mediocrity and things that was not presented how it was written to continue. And nothing was done. Carry on.
Clickbait.
Okay, bitch.
Shout out to all the GNC non-binary people in ballroom that walk the categories, even if it's just you. Shout out to you. You're doing your big one. We see you. I love you.
But what if
deeply.
they're not doing their big one? What if they're just not?
Let
No,
me
I'm just
get
kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, it's over with. That's enough.
Anyways,
We end it.
it's
Bye.
like-
Peace. Bye. We out. We can go on. No, we out. We love you, Lola.
It will always be Gucci for the coochie.